Let's close our eyes together for a moment. It's 1959 in Nagoya, Japan. You're on your way home from the factory in your Toyota station wagon that can barely hit the speed limit on major roads home. You peer out the window and you happen to notice some construction with Honda logos plastered all over the place. You remember some rumblings that you heard about a racetrack being built in the area and think, you must be kidding me. Why would we be building a racetrack? This was the case for many in the community of this small Japanese town. They saw this European-like racetrack being built on their rice fields that they believed would bring in gambling and other vices into the town. You have to remember, at that time we're only 14 years into post-war Japan. Most vehicles are utilitarian, economical, and most importantly, slow. They have no use for an expensive racetrack that to them was a waste of land. Luckily, Honda was successful in paving the road for the Sakura Raceway and is now home to many enthusiasts. The story of its construction is phenomenal. There was a lot of inspiration taken from the Europeans and their circuits, and they relied heavily on faith that the track would be a hit. After construction, the first international race, the Japanese Grand Prix, was set to be held May 3rd through the 4th of 1963. In the background of all this noise, Nissan was making strides to be the first mass-produced Japanese sports car. At this point in 1963, Nissan had just launched their Datsun Fairlady 1500 for Japanese and US market. The Datsun offered a straight 4 engine with a manual 4-speed transmission. Junichiro Tawara, a local enthusiast, picked up a Fairlady 1500 of his own and he set his sights on winning the touring class at the Grand Prix. Tawara, with his new obsession, went to Nissan looking for a sponsor. Nissan did want to help, but the model was so new, and with their focus on marketing, they had no time or money to help. The racer was only able to find 3 sponsors, all of which were little but much needed help. He found a team in a local Nissan dealership, a local car club with other enthusiasts, and NGK, a small spark plug company. May 4th, 1963 finally arrived, the day of the Japanese Grand Prix touring race. The field was full of European sports cars that had dominated the space for as long as anyone could remember. If you watch the film Ford vs. Ferrari, you know we are still 3 or 4 years off of Henry Ford deciding to embark on his journey in the racing world. There was no one else but the Europeans, until the Grand Prix began, and seemingly within a blink of an eye, it was over. The pack was stunned. The silver number 39 Datsun Roadster dominated, setting the fastest lap in the race and, of course, winning on its debut in racing. Tawara cemented Datsun and Nissan in Japanese motorsports history. The crowd at Sakura went wild. The town went from not wanting the racetrack to wanting more. They saw one of their own brands succeeding in a big way, stunning the rest of the world with performance of their vehicle. This victory spawned car clubs across the nation. Nissan even started a marketing campaign off the win and changed the hearts of the people. The community was now buying performance, and the other Japanese brands we think of today followed suit. Everyone wanted to build and buy a Japanese sports car. We got the Toyota 2000 GT, the Datsun 240Z, the Mazda Cosmo, then, of course, the RX-7, the Honda S600, and so many more. These all came within a couple years of the Grand Prix win, and seemingly a direct connection to the win. I often wonder why things happen, especially when we are looking back over 60 years. To be honest, it is really hard to say why Japan has such a strong connection with motorsports and this deep-rooted sports car culture. I felt I have done a fair bit of research, and if I had to point to one thing, it would be this first Datsun victory at the Grand Prix. But I could be wrong. A lot of things in that time were happening simultaneously, and maybe it wasn't one certain thing. But one thing is for certain, that victory will never be forgotten.